everyone. Peacemakers. Do we have any peacemakers out there? I certainly hope so. That's something I strive for. I don't like discord, and I don't like it when there's like not harmony. And I just kind of wanted to, share, just because I felt like, wow, is my own integrity being tested here? But I thought it was important enough to talk about. So a couple times this year, even most recently, in the past few weeks, a coworker um, made a mistake, and the mistake affected me, even all the way down to my finances. They didn't mean to do it; it was a mistake, but they did something that really did have an effect on my own personal life. And when I discovered it, I mentioned it to them, and they were not completely open and upfront and honest with me that they had overlooked something. I could tell when I finally realized that they had indeed overlooked it, and I asked them straight out. They said, "Yes, it's my fault." And I was trying to show them grace, and I'm glad I did. I didn't want to go to my boss or my supervisor and say anything about it because I know it would have had a detrimental effect or impact on my coworker, and I didn't want that. A few years back, there was another coworker that was brand new. They were struggling. They made kind of a big mistake. They took over something that I was supposed to do. They asked me if they could do it, and I was like, "Sure, you can go ahead." They did it wrong, and the big boss found out about it and approached me, and I was like, "I'm so sorry, my mistake." The other coworker that knew I accepted responsibility for it didn't say a single word, nothing. And I thought, I was protecting them. My boss was not very hard on me, but she did correct me. Even still, I decided to just let it be because, like I said, this coworker was new, young, kind of green. They didn't have very much integrity because they didn't come back and say, "I'm sorry. It was my fault. It wasn't hers. It was my fault." They didn't fix it at all. But they didn't last long either. It just didn't work out for them. So, sometimes I ask myself, like, how far, how far can you go? Like, how much grace are we supposed to show others? We are to be peacemakers. I mean, that's what the Bible does say. You know, we are to be peacemakers as much as possible. If it is in the power of your hands to do good, then do good, especially if it's not going to harm you in any way, because what you sow, you reap in this world. It's just that every now and then, sometimes a mistake will be made and people get scared because, you don't want to lose your job, especially in this day and age. You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to be put on any type of action plan, or anything like that. So, as much as I can help somebody else and sort of protect them and make sure they're doing okay, I'm going to do that as often as I can, especially if it's not going to hurt me to do it. But this one particular incident that happened recently kind of got my attention. And I was like, I mean, is God testing my integrity? Is he trying to see what kind of person I really am? Am I going to keep the peace, or am I going to upset someone else's life and cause them to go through a lot of drama and upset? Because that kind of stuff has a trickle down effect. If you put somebody through something, let's say they're married, they have children, they're going to take that home. It's going to affect their home, their families, and everything. So sometimes we just have to be the bigger person and just say, I forgive you. It was a mistake. Let's just let it go. And so that's the course that I decided that I wanted to take this year. But it is really showing me something about myself. I tend to protect the feelings and emotions of other people over my own sometimes. And I get my peace from that. And I also get it from just praying. I take everything to God, to the Lord in prayer. I just, pray about it. So I'm glad that I do have that to fall back on. I can fall back on my prayers, or I can talk to my children about some things because they're not going to let it go anywhere. And because I know how I raised them and I know how they are. I just think it's important to show grace when you can, show mercy when you can, because you're going to need it. You don't always have to retaliate. You don't always have to be unforgiving. You don't need to do that to another human being. Unless this person is outright evil and trying to bring harm to your life, you don't need to retaliate. You can learn to just cope and let things go, move on, maybe stop dealing with them. I'm growing as a person because, I don't let bitterness set in. I don't let things eat me up. I am a firm believer. This is something I believe to my core. Bitterness is like a cancer. You have to not be bitter because really bitterness is like hatred. I just think it's better to just forgive. Can't always forget, but you can forgive. You can just let some things go and stop having power over somebody else's emotions and actions because they're afraid of what you're going to do. Just let some things go. I mean, even to your children, if you have children sometimes you have to show them grace. And I think that is so important, showing people grace. So I hope that something that I have said helps someone that's watching this to think about being more forgiving, more patient, more of a peaceful person. I think I have prayed for peace more than anything else that I've prayed for in my entire life. I want my home to be a peaceful home. I want to have peace in my mind, peace in my body. I just want peace. And I take the steps necessary to make sure I have it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you do enjoy what you're seeing here, just stop back by and visit me again. I don't do videos super often, but I am going to try to start doing them more and more. Until the next time, enjoy the rest of your day. And don't forget, be a peacemaker. Show someone grace. I will see you all the next time. 'Cause it may just be only